Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Momentum Insights, a series where we cover various topics all related to mergers and acquisitions within the staffing and workforce solutions industry. I'm your host, Akash Taneja, founder and managing partner of Momentum Advisory Partners. In this video, we'll be discussing the topic of earnouts, what they are, how and why they're included in transactions, the ways in which they are structured, how they impact you as a seller, and why they have a negative reputation, and what you and your advisors should be doing to eliminate any potential risks that could negatively impact your purchase price. So what is an earnout and why are they important for you to understand? Well, first, earnouts are just one potential component that may be included in a transaction's purchase price. Now, although they are commonly found in transactions within the staffing and workforce solutions industry, that is not to say that every transaction includes an earnout component. However, they are used widely enough where I felt it was important to make a video discussing the topic in detail. Earnouts are essentially contingent payments, and if a transaction includes an earnout, the earnout is typically some percentage of the overall purchase price. So let's use an example. Let's say a transaction has a purchase price of $10 million, and of that $10 million, 80% or $8 million is paid to the sellers in cash at the closing. Now, the other 20% or $2 million is paid to the seller in the form of an earnout. And these earnouts tend to be paid out over a period anywhere between 1 and 3 years following the closing of a transaction, and again, are dependent on the acquired business achieving future financial performance. Now, so long as the acquired business has achieved the future financial performance over the course of the earnout period, then the 20% or $2 million of purchase price will have been achieved and paid out to the sellers. So why are earnouts included in transactions? Well, for one, it's a way for buyers to protect their investments. It's a way for them to get the seller to share in on some of the potential risks that may be associated with the acquired business. For example, let's say the acquired business has a heavy reliance on one particular customer. Over 50% of sales is attributed to this one particular customer. Now let's say within 6 months following the closing of a transaction, for example, this customer is lost. Could be for any reason, but through no fault of the buyer. Now this loss would obviously have a pretty significant negative impact to the acquired business, and had there not been an earnout, then the buyer would have taken on 100% of the loss on its own. Earnouts can also serve as a motivating factor. Oftentimes, the seller is actively involved in the acquired business and will continue to be actively involved in the business post-transaction. Well, going back to our example, 20% or $2 million is tied to the earnout. You know, the seller is going to be very motivated to ensure that the future financial results are achieved and the earnout is fully earned. Earnouts can also be a creative way to bridge the gap between the seller's expectations and a buyer's expectations when it comes to valuation. Believe it or not, there are oftentimes differences in opinion when it comes to valuation between buyers and sellers. Where a seller's expectations may be here and a buyer's expectation here, an earnout may be a way for the buyer to bridge the gap to get closer to the seller's expectations. In order for a buyer to get comfortable with closing the gap in valuation, they may include an earnout in the purchase price that requires the acquired business to achieve a certain level of growth that would allow them to get comfortable with bridging that gap. Earnouts can be structured in a number of different ways. In my nearly 15-year career, I've completed a number of transactions that included earnouts. And although no two transactions are exactly the same, oftentimes earnouts have similar components and similar characteristics. In terms of the length of time for earnouts, as I mentioned earlier, earnouts can range anywhere from 1 to 3 years following the closing of a transaction. Also, the future performance that the acquired business is required to achieve is typically tied to gross profits or EBITDA. Of course, the ways in which a specific earnout is structured depends on a number of different factors, all of which may have a significant impact on your ability to achieve the full purchase price. That's why it's crucially important for both you and your advisors to understand not only how earnouts work, but how they can be structured in a manner to put you in the best position to achieve the full amount in a relatively easy, low-risk manner. Like everything else, earnouts are negotiated between the buyer and the seller. When I'm working with a client, I look to either eliminate or minimize any proposed earnouts so I can maximize the amount of cash that my clients get at closing. However, if an earnout absolutely must be included in an offer, these are the things that I look to include. The first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my client has every opportunity to achieve the full amount of the earnout in a relatively easy manner. And the way I do that is to make sure that there are no lofty growth expectations. As a matter of fact, no growth expectations for the acquired business at all. What I like to do is I like to structure the earnout in what's called a maintenance earnout. A maintenance earnout means there is essentially no growth expectations for the acquired business. Essentially, remain flat over the course of the period of the earnout and the full earnout will be achieved. Second, I want to make sure it's not an all or nothing earnout. In other words, if I miss the future financial performance target by, let's say, $1, I want to make sure that I'm not going to lose out on the entire earnout. Rather, I think it should be formula driven. And if I miss the target by some amount, then I'll lose some amount of the earnout. And if I fall short of my targets and therefore lose some of my earnout, I want to be able to have the ability to earn some additional earnout if I exceed my targets. So I would look to include some type of formula that would provide for some excess earnout if I achieve results above the target. Next, I like to tie the earnout to gross profits. Many buyers look to tie it to EBITDA. The problem with tying an earnout to EBITDA is that the buyer has a lot of control over the operating expenses of the business. An increase in operating expenses reduces EBITDA and therefore reduces your ability to achieve the earnout. And that's why I like to tie earnouts to gross profits. It just eliminates that risk. Lastly, I'm going to want to limit the earnout period to 1 or a maximum of 2 years, particularly because if there is an earnout and whether or not the seller has been involved in the business, they're going to want to stay involved for the duration of the earnout period to make sure that they have every opportunity and influence to make sure they're achieving the full amount of the earnout. Also, unless there's some serious challenges with the acquired business, I really see no reason to have an earnout period beyond 2 years. So there you have it, an overview of earnouts, what they are, why they're included, the ways in which they are structured, and how they impact you as a seller. If you have any questions on the topic or this video, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll link the number and email below. Until next time.